You are listening to Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. I am your host, Chanel Scott. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer who has been supporting those on a spiritual journey for over a decade. I'm your tour guide into the world of the unknown, showing you that the magic of the universe is at your fingertips. I believe spirituality is simple and fun, and this podcast will make it easily accessible, giving you the real talk on all things divine and spiritual, helping you to step into the flow, manifesting your dreams because we all deserve to be living our best life. Are you ready for an adventure? Hey there, welcome to a new episode of Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide. My name is Chanel. I am your spiritual tour guide here on this journey called life, and your host today. I just want to start with a trigger warning. We are going to be talking about fertility today, so if your journey is not one that needs to listen to this right now, please just turn it off. This is about honoring the journey. This is about talking about the journey. And it's important to me that, this is received in love and in a desire, a commitment, a passion for working with fertility clients. And it's a topic that's come up a lot lately. So I feel like it's important to share. But again, this is a conversation around fertility. So if this is not where you are on your journey to be able to listen to this, please just turn it off. So fertility has come up a lot lately. I've had a lot of readings where people have come to me and fertility is an issue. And I do truly believe that it is a bigger issue these days. The science of it is the older we get, the less viable eggs we have. And the reality is that people are having babies much later in life than they used to. I was 24 when I had my first, and I was probably 10 years younger than anybody else in my prenatal class. And it floored me that nobody else was having babies. It was crazy. And I can probably count on one hand how many of my friends had babies around the same time as I did. The majority waited until their mid and late 30s, even their early 40s before having babies. When we are older, of course, it's harder to get pregnant. Hormones levels are starting to drop because we're moving into perimenopause and menopause. And this can happen at an early age. Also just the viability of the eggs. The good ones are gone potentially, or we've gone through the eggs that we've produced. There is this piece that the older we get, that doesn't mean that, we've seen women in their 50s and 60s get pregnant. It's crazy. It happens. And, our bodies are an amazing, amazing thing. But there is some of these factors that play into the fertility game. I have not experienced fertility issues myself. But it is something near and dear to my heart, and I do work with fertility clients on a regular basis. I have had many friends that have gone through fertility journeys, and I definitely see the disconnect with fertility clinics in the sense that they are taking care of the physical body. That is their job. That is what they are doing. And there is a huge mental, emotional, spiritual component to the process that I think gets missed out on. And I really appreciate people that come to me before they go to the fertility clinic, but also those people that are doing the work that is required to take care of themselves throughout the process, because it is not an easy process to maneuver, to journey along. I guess there's so much to say, and I just want to be so mindful about the way that I say things, because this does come from a place of compassion and love, and the genuine desire to see those that are dealing with fertility issues to get pregnant. I will say right off the hop that sometimes it's not part of our path. Sometimes we are just not meant to have babies of our own. And often in those cases, we have the opportunity to be a parent or a role model in some other way, whether that's with someone else's children, with nieces and nephews. There's ways that children still come into our lives. Being a teacher, this is part of it. Our soul contract is part of it. I was having a conversation today around babies and miscarriages and, how babies choose. Our children choose us. They have chose us as their parents. And sometimes it's about the divine timing that has to line up for your little one to come in. Sometimes they think they want to come in and then change their minds. And that's often, not often. I shouldn't say often. That is sometimes the case when it comes to miscarriage. I wouldn't say all that often in my experience, maybe in others. But that can be part of it as well. Sometimes I've seen, with pregnancies, that one seems like it's coming in, then all of a sudden a different child comes in, and that one that was the first one comes in later because it wasn't ready to come in yet, the baby. So our children choose us. It is part of our soul contract. It is part of their soul contract. It is part of, what we want to experience. When we choose to come down here, we choose a pattern, a life, things that we want to feel, experience, be. Some of us choose to be parents and some of us don't, and that's okay. And I think that's important to honor too. Children don't validate you or give you value. Those that do or those that don't. Everybody has a purpose and a path, and some people's incorporate children and some people's don't, and that's totally okay too. So I do want to bring out soul contracts, and some of that comes into play here. More recently, I've had it happen a few times over the last year where I've had clients that I'm just reading for them and I'm like, are you planning on getting pregnant? Because there is a baby and they are coming whether they like it or not. It's always interesting to see those. They don't happen very often, but I've had a few in the last year where baby is on its way and there's nothing you can do to stop it, which is not a bad problem. So soul contract wise, there is lots of things that can come into play there because it is our soul contract. It is the soul contract we have with the soul that we're bringing in. It is the soul contract with the person that we've procreated with, siblings. There's all sorts of factors that come into play in that. But I won't say, or I should say this, I wouldn't call this a huge point when it comes to the fertility journey. I don't often have this as the reason why somebody's struggling to get pregnant. Now, I'm sure the universe will prove me wrong and give me a client like that so that I can experience that. But often, the soul contract comes into play, but I don't feel like it is the biggest component of fertility. When we are dealing with trying to get pregnant, it is very emotional. Our hormones are all out of whack, so of course that creates emotional pieces anyways. But on top of that, it's something that we feel out of control about. Counting the days down to our period, taking a pregnancy test and getting a negative, or a period coming. Those are things that can be really hard emotionally when we are trying to get pregnant. And this is where the mindset demise can happen. When we don't have control over something, when we're just kind of hoping, praying, waiting, taking action in the way we want to, in hopes that this thing will happen, it can be really hard. And there's so many things we could compare it to, but fertility just is so different than so many of the other ones. The challenge often lies in the fact that we get very consumed and we get very emotional about it. Even the process of getting pregnant is an emotional experience. We have this emotional connection, this physical connection to create a baby. So, of course, it's going to carry a whole lot of weight and a whole lot of energy. What ends up happening is we start to fall into the mindset which is, I feel like, one of the biggest components to fertility journeys. As soon as it doesn't start to happen, even on that first negative or that first cycle after you've started trying, that weight of it's a no, it didn't happen this month, I've got to wait again for a whole month before it can happen again, can be really heavy. It can really weigh on our soul and on our mind. And as that compounds, we start to lose faith. We start to lose trust that a pregnancy is going to happen. Then we let things get more mechanical, which I hear all the time. And I always say, go on a date. Can you just stop trying and just practice and have fun? We get really mechanical. We start counting the days. We start testing when we're ovulating. We start having sex on a schedule or out of obligation because we're trying to get pregnant, instead of having sex because we're in the mood, because we are having date night and we are passionate. It loses something. The hormones, the dopamine, the serotonin, all the good stuff that happens when we have really great sex, when we have really passionate and loving. That's why I like to call it love making and not sex, because really you need to make love to make a baby. That's the best time to do it. When we take that mechanicalness out of it, when we put spontaneity back into it, when we put joy back into it, it shifts. It shifts. So I always say, go get a hotel room, go have a hot date, go buy new lingerie. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel sexy? What makes you feel like you want to make love to your partner? These are the things we need to consider. These are the things that we need to be doing. We need to not be like, tick, tick, tick. It's time. We got to go have sex because we're ovulating. Like, it doesn't, yeah, it works. We all know it works. But at the same time, it works so much better when it's about love. It's about connection. Mindset is kind of the next level of this. And medical intervention can be very necessary and a part of your journey. That doesn't mean that mindset is not. Regardless of how you're getting to this place, mindset is really, really, really important. If you do not believe wholeheartedly, without a doubt, complete faith and trust that you can get pregnant, it can block. It can absolutely 110% block you getting pregnant. And I don't want that, again, to be the be all and end all. We can't blame that. But it is something that we can do to help. And this is where I want you to put the focus. We're not blaming our mindset for not getting pregnant. But what I want you to realize is that having the right mindset can drastically increase the possibility of getting pregnant. The mindset that you carry can really help on your journey. The perception we have each step of the way can also help along the journey. The journey is not about band-aids, though. And I really want to make this clear. It is not about band-aids. No one else can do the work for you. You can go get every massage, every facial, every energy work, every Reiki treatment that you want in the book. You can go see a naturopath and a homeopath and a nutritionist. And yeah, all that stuff can help. But if you are not doing the work, it will not make a difference. If you don't believe that you can get pregnant, it can only do so much. The power of your mindset amplifies the rest of those things. When I do energy work, I am very clear that my job is to hold space and to give you knowledge and wisdom and information so that you can understand where there are blockages in your body, your energy field, so that you can move through them. When I do medical intuition and I tap into a body that is trying to get pregnant, I am allowing the body to have a conversation. I am allowing the body to speak, to let us know where we need to focus our energy. And that comes through as physical and spiritual emotional. It is not always just the physical pieces of it. The physical pieces can tell us a lot of things. It can help us to understand what physically we need to do to help the situation. But our mindset is that icing on the cake. It helps those physical things do their job and to move you to that next place. But again, if you don't believe you can get pregnant, the struggle gets harder. It is so hard to release and let go in fertility. And I see it all the time. I can tell you until I'm blue in the face the way you need to shift your mindset, the way, the thought pattern you need to hold. But unless you're ready to do it, nothing changes. Again, I'm just a Band-Aid. You have to do the work. You have to be willing to see things for what they are. And you have to be willing to believe that you can do it, that you can get pregnant. Me believing that I was never going to have a fertility issue, do I think that played a role into me getting pregnant? Maybe. I didn't think about it that much. And I think on my journey to get pregnant, I never worried about it. I just had fun along the way. And I got lucky, and I know it. I thank the universe, the Lord, God, whatever you want to call it. I thank it every day for giving me the gift of becoming a parent. And it's so important that if I can help someone else on that journey by understanding their mindset, then I'll do it every day of the week. Our desperation and our need just tell the universe that we don't believe that we can do it. It's the same thing in manifestation in general, let's be honest. If we want to manifest something and we are like constantly in this place of praying for it and, I just want this. That's us telling the universe that we don't believe it's going to happen. That's us telling the universe that we're not in alignment with it or that we don't trust. And, I say this and it kind of sounds detached and unemotional, and trust me, that's not the case. I cry. I have some great pictures of my reactions to getting that message that it's a positive pregnancy test, that baby's on its way. And I definitely want pictures afterwards because it melts my heart. But when we can get to this place where we can stop being so detached, so that step back we take, that detachment that we create offers space. When we want so badly, and I see this a lot in relationships, people trying to find their perfect match, their ideal, person. I see it there all the time too, because there's this piece of like, I just want it to happen. When you're saying that, you don't believe it. You don't believe that it is going to happen. You don't believe it. So it's this question of how do we shift? How do we shift our mindset to a place where we know so deeply that the baby is coming? Again, I'm a Band-Aid. I admit it. I can tap in, and oftentimes I can tell you there's a baby waiting. I can share the information that I'm being given, and I can work through, your blocks and your medical and all of those things to get to a place where it will help you to trust. But you still have to do the work. You are the one that holds the power. You are the one that holds the magic of trusting that that thing is going to happen. So it's important to look at the places where we're getting stuck. The places where that belief system that we're not getting pregnant is happening. Society puts a huge value on being a parent, being a mother, being a father. And it's unfortunate. At the same time, it's incredibly beautiful seeing those in my life who have chosen not to have children and how everybody honors and respects that. And I think definitely the narrative around that societal belief is changing. It's changing a lot. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm sure so many of you also are grateful for that. But there is this narrative that it is this worth thing. Am I worthy of having a baby? If it was determined by worth, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have babies that wouldn't have babies. Let's be honest. But it's these mindsets that we create. So what else? My mother struggled to get pregnant. I'm going to struggle to get pregnant too. I struggled to have my first one and I had multiple miscarriages. It's going to be really hard to get pregnant again. I'm old. I'm past the age of prime, and what happens if I can't? I took birth control for so long, I don't know if my body knows what it's supposed to be doing. There are so many stories that we tell ourselves. If I could just lose weight, if I could just put on weight, if my period was regular. Stop feeding the stories. Honor your stories. Accept your stories. My mother struggled to get pregnant, but that's not my journey. It's safe for me to have a baby. My journey might not be easy, but I'm determined. And I know that I will hold my baby in my hands someday. So the question is, how do you shift your mindset to a place where you are holding the right energy to create? How do you shift your energy? And I've seen so many beautiful ways of doing this. Of course, Spirit steps in and shows us things. I have clients that have stepped in and been like, oh, these are the things that I'm doing. And they're so beautiful. You can meditate and tap into the energy of your baby, your spirit baby, and welcome that energy in. You can do healing work where you can feel that baby coming into your energy center. You can do a reading, have someone like me who can connect to these things, maybe do medical intuition and help you to see what's going on. I love a journal. We can call it a dream journal or a fake journal, where you actually sit and write journal entries. So imagine what it'd be like pregnant. Write a journal entry about your ultrasound, or you're, going to buy maternity clothes, or having a maternity photo shoot, or even just having your baby. Write journal entries about what it's like holding your brand new baby. when we do that, we're energetically aligning our energy with the energy of baby, of the energy of pregnancy. And I do this with relationships as well. And it worked for me when I was manifesting my sweet husband. When we started going on dates, things started happening, and it wasn't exactly what I wrote in my dream journal, but it was things, there was aspects, and they kept popping up, and it was like the universe saying, hey, pay attention. It's happening. And I have clients that have done the dream journal thing, and it totally works for them. It's really important to find the thing that works for you. You can hold a crystal that holds energy or holds your intention. You know, you could literally do a meditation every day on being pregnant. There are so many things that you can do on your own. You don't need anybody else to help you. That can help to shift. Guided meditation, yoga nidra, doing a yoga practice for fertility, doing a breathwork practice for fertility. But again, the mindset we hold is important. When I say do yoga or breathwork for fertility, it isn't that I have to do this thing or I'm not going to get pregnant. That's the wrong mindset. The mindset is around, I'm doing these things to help me to be in the perfect place, in this ideal space, this sacred energy to get pregnant, to be pregnant. And I feel like I just try to explain it over and over and over again because it's such a fine line between trusting and knowing and doubting. It's such a fine line. And there's so many people that when I start talking to them, they're like, yeah, I believe I'm going to get pregnant. But then the more you talk, you realize that, no, you don't. There is a part of you that doubts it. Whether that's subconscious beliefs or not, there's a part of you that doubts it. I think another piece here that is important is to honor grief. It's fine that when you get your period, you're sad for the day, but it's about not wallowing in it. When we are stuck in that energy of, sadness and, it didn't happen. And if we really hold that, what we're doing is we're putting out to the universe this energy of it didn't happen. It's never going to happen. Instead of being like, okay, I'm just honoring that this didn't happen this month and I'm sad about it, but I know it's going to happen when its time is right. The energy of those are so different. So different. There is a journey. A miscarriage creates grief. But the more you're focused on that miscarriage and that it happened and I can't get pregnant, the more we focus on I'm infertile, there's something wrong with me, the more we create that. Where we put our focus, our energy flows. So why not put the focus on being pregnant instead of not being pregnant? Again, there is such fine lines, there's such innuendos, but it's so powerful when we can break it down and look at it. And it is something that you can use to help you on the journey. Okay, I've rambled for an incredibly long time. I hope that this is received in the way that it is intended, with so much love and admiration and positivity. The journey is not an easy one, so please make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are nurturing your body and your soul in the way that it needs to on this journey that can weigh very heavy on the heart. a journey that I will hold hands with others through time and time again. And I am so grateful when I am chosen to do so. So thank you to those of you who have taken a fertility journey and included me in it. I greatly appreciate you. I hope that in some way in my ramblings, I've given you some nugget that will help you to shift your mindset into belief, to help you on your journey to achieving and manifesting everything that you've ever wanted. And I'm going to put my prayer out there for all those that would love to be mothers, that your words, your prayers, your wishes, your desires are heard. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. I know, again, that this is a challenging topic to have a conversation around, but I couldn't ignore it anymore and really felt like it was important to talk about it. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here and listening and being a part of this journey. From my heart and soul to yours. Till the next time. Bye now.